Okay, so now the president has been speaking after John Peter Amewu, the energy minister, spoke about having saved Ghana a lot of money. He said they have saved Ghana $50 million on the Ameri deal. And then the president told us about how $7 billion has been saved the country from the review of 24 power purchase agreements. There are some who say if there's any savings that's been done, it is paper savings, nothing more than that. So let's listen to John Peter Amewu and then Emmanuel Akufo-Addo, former energy minister. We'll come back to the studio for the discussion.
Not up to 150, but we quite save quite a chunk of money. It's above 50 million, thereabouts.
Okay. So that's how much you're going to save?
Yes, of course.
But that is far short of the 150 million we were anticipating.
Well, this savings that we're doing now is just for the 2.5 years. And so if we are saving 2.5 years, almost about 60 million. If we had to work behind, we tell you that we should be saving quite close to 100 million. But this negotiation is just for 2.5 years ahead of us. It has nothing to do with all the invoices that were passed and accepted, but we're looking into the future. This power purchase agreement that have been signed over this period, if we allow them to continue, that was how much we're going to lose. We serve this country $7 billion I maintain. And any minority member that thinks that what I've put forward is false should come out and challenge it. Those documents have been demonstrated clearly that they are not in interest of this country. How do you continue signing power purchase agreement when you have not made any justifications for demand? These are issues that I'm talking about. Look at one of the points the minority raised, that we have gone to Burkina Faso to commission the transmission line and blah, blah, and that's why they were signing it. Transmission lines are not the end result of consumptions of power. If you send transmission line, there must be demand. Power travels through transmission line, but there must be distribution, supply, and metering. And that is the only processes which you can sell power. So the mere transmission line alone doesn't give any power to any people. The demand must come from metering, supply, and distribution. And these things are not in existence.
But for the diligence of the minority in parliament, this country will have been saddled with additional $1.1 billion in extra cost for a plan that will belong to us.
How do you spend it like that? When you sign a written agreement,
let me make the point.
That is now going to save, you're not going to save 50 million.
These people said they are coming to collect $150 million. The Attorney General just wrote that they've gone through the Ameri deal. It's above board. Are you listening to me? Now, he just walked in there. What's the minister? Mr. Jaco? Mm-hmm. In fact, yesterday when he was doing the licensing round.
Were you there, by the way?
I wasn't there. But there was something that we picked from the industry. And they were watching him. The man didn't even give credit to the former minister who did the work.
The president did. The president did. The president did credit.
The minister. This is the sector he has gone to. And he's sitting on TV. I'm just telling you that
the president is a man who
when it comes to oil block, I just explained to you the processes. I just told you that I revoked licenses. I didn't come on TV and make noise. I didn't need the president's direction.
But if you say the taxpayer 50 million, why don't you tell the public?
Because he has not. We should take our time.
You believe he's not safe? What he's saying is not true?
Well, what did Ajaku say? Where is Ajaku now?
Ajaku was simply going to review and give it to somebody else.
Where is Ajaku now?
He's been fired.
Let's wait for this man to come to Parliament. I hope he doesn't face his Waterloo.
Well, by the way, he said yesterday in that interview that there's a probe underway. Are you a subject of a probe?
I'm sitting here. I'm waiting. I think that I'm so proud of what I've done. And you know what? I sleep happily because I loved Ghana. And I dedicated myself for working for the people of Ghana and the people of Elembele, and now continue to do that. I'm proud.
All right, so you heard John Peter Amewu, the energy minister, and Emmanuel Akufo-Addo, former energy minister. And if you had listened to the president in the course of the week, he had said that his government over the past year alone has brought stability in the place of the erratic power situation that was inherited from the erstwhile Mahama government. Is that true, that the government inherited erratic power situation? I thought it had normalized by the time that the NPP came in. He said, adequate power supply is critical to the operation and success of industry, especially small and medium-scale enterprises. And then he made a couple of revelations, including that 7 billion savings had been made from power purchase agreements. Some have been cancelled. Is it about 12 of them that were unnecessary have been cancelled? Okay, so this is your area of comfort. Yeah. How come you were engaging in getting us power purchase agreements that were practically unnecessary? We didn't need what you were going to get for the country. And now all of these have been, 12 of them or so have been cancelled, and so much savings have been made.
So I'll tackle that one first, then I'll talk about Ameri.
All right.
Yeah, so let me pick them one by one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very important that we understand the power industry. And the first thing is to get a power purchasing agreement. The government sometimes have direct, and that one is very few. So far we can count about 4, where government had direct negotiation, where VRA takes over at the end of the day. Sometimes VRA can also have with the independent power producers. Then Electricity Company of Ghana can enter into an agreement with an independent power producer. Unless it needs government backing, it need not come to Parliament. So if Electricity Company negotiates and they agree and everything is set, it doesn't need to come to Parliament, then that ends it. So there might be power purchasing agreement that the Parliament will not be aware of. That is the first. 2, when you send power purchasing agreement, it doesn't create liability. No.
Can you explain that?
It doesn't create liability. Let's have signed that you will construct a plant and supply power to Ghana. By signing it, it doesn't create liability. Liability arises when I finish the construction, I'm ready to supply the power. And you say, okay, I cannot consume it. Because you have to pay for the cost of the plant and the construction. So in that one, we call it capacity charges, just to be able to recover the cost of the plant.
But the intention alone that you are bringing in as 12 unnecessary, producers.
Just wait, let me finish.
Which would have gotten to the state you are talking about now and may have incurred the debts. Okay, go ahead.
Yes,
you wanted us to wait until that happens.
Then
there will be liability.
Wait, let me finish.
Okay.
When the issue of this power purchasing agreement came up, 2015, Honorable General Paul was the chairman of the review committee to ensure that all power purchasing agreement that we don't need, you say, okay, shift it ahead. Once that person has not incurred cost in putting up the plant and availability is ready, you don't incur any cost. 2, why that is the same way when the person says 3 years and it's taking the person 6 years to construct it, you don't say pay something for not doing. If it is strict, that means that if you tell me you construct it in 3 years and it's taking you 5 years to construct, because I'm expecting the power in 3 years, you are providing me the power in 5 years. I should tell you, pay me for it. And that is why you don't pay, because in that contract there are review clauses. There are review clauses.
That is why when the information that's been given to us is that 11, not 12, 11 of these 24 power purchase agreements have been terminated. It tells me something had happened.
No.
To terminate it.
As the argument of the president say, capacity charges will be paying a loan. Are you getting my point? He made it clear, the president.
Okay.
And the minister made, the capacity charges will be paying a loan. Capacity charge means the plant is ready, willing to supply power, and you are not able to take it. You must pay for the cost of the plant, whether you consume that power or not. In this case, none of these ones have a plant on the ground. Just like he can extend it without paying anything to me, you can equally, under the review clause, review it without paying anything. We must understand that basis. And that is how power purchasing agreement works. So when it is still on paper, and you've used the review clause in that agreement to either reschedule it or cancel it, then you say you have made savings. Then there is a question mark there.
These are his exact words. He says, in addition, a review of 24 power purchase agreements, which has led to the termination of 11 power deals and the rescheduling of 8 others, has enabled us to save the government's treasury about $7 billion in excess capacity charges over a 13-year contract period.
That is why I say capacity charges. Capacity charges kicks in when you have constructed the plant is ready to supply power, and you are not able to.
When you sign the contract with the producer, yeah, you will expect that they will build the plant. Is that it?
Yes.
Or they will install it.
They would. That is the expectation that they would.
Yes.
Do it.
And once they begin to do that, like you are suggesting, then liability, you have some responsibility.
In terms of capacity, or when it is ready.
Because what they do will be on the strength of the contract they have entered with you.
Yes.
So what do you mean by, is it you or Akufo-Addo who said it's only paper savings?
No, paper savings because the people haven't started the plant. The review clause is there. You decided that, oh, let me review it, which is your right to do it.
Okay.
Were those agreements not pointing to a situation where we're going to have excess capacity?
That is why
I would not have needed.
That is why a review clause is there, and that is why I earlier stated that in 2015, Honorable John Jinapo was the head of the review committee. Because that review clause is not there for nothing. It's to give you flexibility to be able to reschedule.
But Kuku ask a specific question, that the ones that have been terminated, were they not going to give us excess power that we did not have need for?
Yes.
I think there's been a justification provided for that. The justification is that we're going to export to other neighboring countries.
Yes.
And so we're going to do these things. Is that
Let me be very clear. That is why I have called for the minister to publish those agreements.
Okay.
Because most of the agreement that ECG has signed self-terminate.
Yeah, what?
They self-terminate. There are certain conditions that must be fulfilled. And that is why you can cancel it where you don't need it without charging it as capacity charges. I said I needed it. I'm no more. I don't need it now. Or I don't need it. You don't be charging capacity charges. 2, if you decide to reschedule it, you don't pay capacity charges because the plant is not even ready.
Okay.
So you start accruing capacity charges when the plant is ready, it's available to supply.
And then you spend about just 2 minutes on the Ameri for us. Then we go to PEMCA. It does appear that my other guests may not get sufficient time to have their bites. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back with just about 3 minutes only left to go, and there's an intervention here that says that, and I'll give you just a minute, that says that the response to Anke Kwaku is that there was ample proof that with increasing demand from factories, the supply would have been matched by demand. Anyway, if this government really had plans to implement the 1D, 1F, are they aware of the increased power demand? Would this excess supply not have mitigated that? And that's Sam George asking that question. Yes, so...
Excess supply, there was excess of it.
Okay.
By the agreement.
I just wanted to tackle. Do you know why the first Ameri, which led to the dismissal of the minister? This is, I want to just show, because the time is a capacity charge. Because that is what we are interested in. Because once the plant is available, whether it produces or not, you pay. The agreement that we have was 5.6 cents per kilowatt hour.
Okay.
The minister brought 3.8. Now, For 15 years, this for 5 years.
Let me give Kwenka just a minute response to this matters, and then we can. Doc can't come in. It looks like we are done.
Well, very, very quickly. You see, they are talking about paper. It is that which translates to the money. You have to start with the paper, and that translates to money. So if you sign an agreement, it is that which will later become monetary. And let me state this. So when they were signing all these agreements, were they joking or what? No, that's the point. They were not interested in implementing. They were just interested in signing documents. Of course, if they were given the opportunity by Ghanaians to be in power today, they would have implemented what they signed.
Okay.
That's a fact.
All right.
And the state would have lost all this money that His Excellency the President is talking about. But because we got the opportunity and we have abrogated these things, we have abrogated these things, then in the end, the country has saved so much.
Thank you very much. One listener says that this is a caution that he wants to get to the special prosecutor. Says special prosecutor must be alerted that in activating processes to deal with complaints before the OSP, he would not be do selective activation that places certain complaints on the back burner for non-transparent considerations. And this is coming from Seth. We're done. Thank you very much for your company. My outfit, as always, is by Latida. My guests have been Abdul Malik Kubako and Dr. Odro Sai, Adam Mutawakilu, and Pemka Dindiok. He's the Deputy Attorney General. I'm Samson Ladia Yenin. Have a good afternoon.